Hi everyone, I'm Saleha and this is Chai, Chat and Community. Tonight I have a very special guest, a doctor turned musician, or should I say a musician turned doctor. He will tell you what he is, who's joining me all the way from Darwin. And he has an incredible story to share. But before I introduce you to my guest, I would like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which we are meeting tonight, and I pay my respects to their elders, past, present, and emerging. Hello, Sadbir. Thank you for joining me.
Hi, Saleha. Thank you for having me on your program.
It's my
And
pleasure,
hi,
and
everyone.
what an amazing journey. So, let's start off with you telling us something about yourself.
Right. So, I'm a GP. I've been in Darwin since 2007, working as a GP. I always had a passion for music. Grew up in India. I was 30 years old when I came to Australia. And like all kids growing up in Southeast Asia, you cannot tell your parents that you want to be a doctor, want to be a musician. So you
Music,
have to be a doctor, engineer, or lawyer.
of
So
course.
there were no other questions asked. So first you do one of those, and then if you have time and if you can, support yourself, go ahead with that. So I was 30 years old, found myself in Australia, and I thought, right, I need to start working, and then have some time for my passion, which is music, and slowly but steadily gotten here. Um, yes, so that's in a nutshell
With
my story.
13 million views, that's a great
Yes,
way
so
of getting here.
I did as I was lucky enough to, and I think I'm the only independent artist that has worked with Rahat Fateh Ali Khan from Pakistan. Or he used to be in India.
Yes.
Yes, I consider him the biggest star singer from the subcontinent. So I was quite lucky to do a song with him. We recorded the audio and we did a video as well. It was shot in Goa, and then I was sending the video to all the big music labels, and T Series happened to find it very exciting opportunity. So they took that video of me, and so it was released on T Series in 2017. Um, and yeah, it has more than 13 million views, my biggest song till date. Um, yeah, and so I've considered
Yeah.
myself quite lucky to have
No, you must be
shared the
very
stage.
talented to, open with Rahat Fateh Ali Khan. Wow. I go and see every single concert of his every time he's in Melbourne. Doesn't matter whether he's singing the same songs or not.
Yes, yes.
Um, okay, so how come Australia and why Darwin?
So just like any other doctor, passing their medicine degree in India, I had plans to go to UK, and I did go there. I was there for 6 months. And I think those were the days when the EU had just formed, and there was,
Yep.
as an Indian doctor, getting into the national health system was very hard. They would consider a doctor from Hungary or Spain before they would consider an Indian or a Pakistani doctor, even though we speak better English, I believe.
Yep.
So it was hard. I would have applied for 55 positions, I think. And the 56th time applied to a hospital in Mount Gambier in South Australia. But it was unknown to me it was in Australia. So I applied,
Yep.
and they said, yes, we'll have a phone interview back in those days.
Yep.
But they said it'll be 10 p.m. GMT. I said, 10 p.m. Who,
Where is it?
who does
Okay.
interviews at 10 p.m.? Then those were one of the days where you could have Google on your mobile phone. So I had to go back to my PC and check. Oh, it was in Australia. So that's how Australia happened, and ended up in South Australia. And
So
it was
how
a bit
long were
cold.
you? Yep. Yes.
And then, and then too, I love being out in the tropics. So hence Darwin happened. Sorry. Go on.
So how long in Mount Gambier?
2.5 years. Just shy of 3 years actually.
And then you moved
That
to
was a good
Darwin.
time. Yes, I still have good friends from Mount Gambier.
Yeah. So you are a fellow of the Royal Australian College of Physicians. Tell us
GP,
about,
sorry.
sorry,
Yes,
GPs. Yep.
GPs. Yeah, yeah.
Yep. What are your special interests?
Right. So I'm a GP some days of the week, The other time, so I also have a clinic that specializes in regenerative medicine, which is um, in Australia we don't have a college of regenerative medicine, but I specialize in anti-aging and regenerative medicine, which emphasizes on reversal of age, reversal of arthritis, giving back your hormones that men and women lose after a certain age. Um, Lifestyle like um, intermittent fasting, supplements. So it's everything but pharmaceutical medicine. It's all about lifestyle. It's all about intermittent fasting, ice baths, cryotherapy, saunas, hormones, PRP injections into the
What's
joints.
PRP?
It's called platelet-rich plasma, which is your blood is drawn, spun, platelets are separated, and then they are injected into joints that are, are worn and torn. That is arthritis. Facet joints of your cervical spine, your lumbar spine, hip arthritis, knee arthritis, ankle arthritis. So the idea is not to let the patient go to surgeons. That's the mission,
Yep.
one of the missions in life is
Oh.
try not to let this patient go to the surgeons. I try and fix them. So as a GP, I triage those patients and then I see them in my other clinic. So yeah, I end up working 6.5 days a week. So I'm a workaholic.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, from whatever you're telling me. So, how successful has this anti-aging, uh, what should I call this, process been?
Yes, I
That,
mean it's so there's not many doctors who are doing so anti-aging in Australia and most of the world is when you mention the word anti-aging, people think it's all about botulinum toxin injections and fillers.
yes, absolutely, yes.
Anti-aging is prolonging lifespan, which lifespan is our functional uh, sorry, I should say health span, prolonging health span. So it's the functional lifespan that we have where we can go about enjoy time with kids, our partners, can play sports and go and work out and go for a swim. So that health span needs to be prolonged. So that's what we try to do, make people healthier as we age and maybe reverse age. So who knows? So science says we can prolong the human lifespan. So I'm trying my best to believe in it and preach the same.
So, your therapy, for want of a better word, that you're doing, the anti-aging process for people who are, say, 80 plus, does
Mhm.
it make their life better?
Yes.
As you age, I I already see I'm getting a little bit of knee pain here, and this I'm slowing down, this and that. So, does it mean that it just enriches your life and makes if you're, and makes the longevity easier and better and
Yes.
healthier?
Exactly right. If I can mention the name David Sinclair, he's a to all our viewers, and I tell it to all my patients. Try and read David Sinclair, follow him, watch him on YouTube. He's an Australian biologist. He's written a book called Lifespan: Why We Age and Why We Don't Have to. So it's just simple fundamentals of prolonging lifespan. So I'll just tell you the gist of it. We all evolved from a single cellular organism called yeast. So if you go back 4 billion years ago, we all used to be yeasts, and evolution took place, and we became these wonderful multicellular creatures that we are. But during that time, obviously our DNA has changed, our chromosomes have changed a bit, but 70% similarity. So across every organism on this planet, we are 70% alike. And the genes that reverse age in certain animals and plants mainly, we have them as well. So we just have to wake them up and fire them. And it's lifespan, prolonging lifespan is all about waking up those genes of longevity and firing them up. So pretty much, if I can say, don't live comfortably, be uncomfortable, and you live long. So out in the wild, plants and animals, they don't get fed 3 times or 6 snacks in between. They don't stay, in front of a heater or in front of air conditioning in Darwin as I am. They're out there battling hunger. They're out there battling cold, heat. So if we did all that, we would live longer. Comfort is causing us to age. Adversity will wake up those genes of longevity. So based on that, my practice revolves around that. So we have the only cryotherapy clinic where we freeze people to up to minus 170 degrees Celsius. We have
Whoa.
saunas. We do back-to-back sauna and then cryotherapy. All my patients,
So what
including
is
my,
cryotherapy? Is that the ice bath?
yes, so it's ice bath on steroids. It's ice bath would go to say 0 degrees. This is minus 170 degrees Celsius. It's super cold. So you only stay there for 3 minutes. If you stayed there
That's
for
a
four
lot of
minutes,
3 minutes.
well, time flies. Time flies.
Yeah.
Your adrenaline is pumping. You're enjoying it, talking to the nurse or the doctor, and as you are, going in that chamber, you have to do a quarter turn every 15 seconds, so you don't get the mist on one part of your body, so you can burn your skin. So by the time you're, revolving, rotating, and talking, 3 minutes go very quick. I think there's a few places in Melbourne. I understand Melbourne is much colder than Darwin, but it's not
Oh,
cold.
yes, very cold. It is very cold today.
It's not cold enough to prolong the lifespan. So you want to go the extreme heat, the extreme cold. And likewise, sauna is something we advise 4 times a week, 20 minutes a day. There was a Finnish study done in Finland and found that I think it was done with 55 men, and they followed them over 35 years. And they found that people who did 4 saunas a week, 20 minutes each, did not have any cardiovascular mortality or morbidity. So no heart attacks, no strokes, no Alzheimer's, no cardiovascular disease. It's amazing. So these are the things that us doctors, we are guilty as well. We get trained to treat diseases. We don't get to promote health. We're not the best promoters of health. We are like mechanics. We're waiting for the cars to break down and then we fix it. We don't service the cars before they break down. So it's a different approach to medicine.
Wow. Okay. Now we come to your passion. Now we talk
Yes.
about your passion. So, are you an accidental doctor or are you an accidental musician? What are you?
I think music is for the soul, right? So I think that way I'm an accidental doctor. I think I've been singing since mom says I was 3 years old. Obviously,
Wow.
I didn't know then that I will be a doctor, but I always thought I'll be a
Singer.
singer.
Yeah. And so tell us about your band. When you started, I know you sing. So were you singing in when you were in Mount Gambier, or did you pick this up when you went to Darwin and then started your band? I want to know the whole story.
Actually, I never sang in Mount Gambier, just occasionally in the bathroom or driving in the car. I find driving in the car is the best time um, because no one else can hear you and you can hit those high notes. Otherwise, sometimes you can't sing those high notes in other places. So in Mount Gambier, I never got the opportunity to sing. I never got the opportunity to meet up with musicians and form a band. But I think it was 2009 when I was approached by local musicians, and they had heard from a patient of mine who, somehow I must have said that I can sing, and he ended up telling one of the band members, and they got in touch, and then we got together, and we've been meeting up once a week, sometimes twice a week, and practicing. And there's a Indian festival which is endorsed by the anti-government once a year. I think Greek and the Indians are the biggest communities in Darwin, Northern Territory. So we have our own festival once a year in the dry. So I think for Greeks it'll be happening this month, and for us it's in June every year. So it's one of the biggest festivals. So we have 15 to 20,000 people that come. It's on a beach called Mindle Beach,
Wow.
and it's called India at Mindle Beach. So India at Mindle is quite big. So they get artists flown over from everywhere. And we being the
Locals.
local band, we always get a slot in there. So I've been performing there for the last 15 years.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's how the band happened. And I had done a few songs in the past, and I'd given it to music labels like T Series and T Series Up in Punjab. And then I thought maybe I should have my band members, and it's a way of thanking my band members if I can have them as well involved and display it to the world. So we've done a few songs lately. There's one being released on the 11th of May, so that's next
Do you
week.
want to sing that
Yeah, it's
before
called
I
Sansu.
ask you? Sorry,
Right, so
yes.
it's called Sansuki Mala. Now, it was originally written by um, a poet in 1510 by the name of Mirabai. She used to be
Yep.
follower of Krishna, Lord Krishna. So, but then Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan, he had composed a qawwali in the 80s. So it's more like so I think we've used the chorus from Khan Saab's qawwali, and it's combined with some Punjabi lyrics. So that comes on 15th, sorry, 11th of May, if everything goes
Which is
well.
like
So
three, which is next Thursday, which is Thursday.
it is Thursday,
Fantastic.
and
You were,
it's on my channel, Satbir Aulakh Music. So
okay.
everyone can
Sabir
reach it.
Aulakh music. Yep.
Mhm. Do you
Do
want
you
me
want
to
to?
sing a few lines?
Yes, please. Yes,
Okay.
we'll be the first one to hear it.
Right. I don't know how this voice quality sound is, but
It'll
let
be
me.
perfect.
सांसों की माला पे सिमरूं मैं पी का नाम अपने मन की मैं जानूं और पी के मन की राम सांसों की माला पे सिमरूं मैं पी का नाम.
Fantastic. It's
Thank you.
amazing. I'm hoping everybody have tagged. They're listening to you, and when you come to Melbourne, we do a concert, paid
Sure.
ticketed concert. This that'll be so awesome.
Thank you. I am doing a
So,
couple of concerts. So this is our the festival season now. The mugginess will disappear and it'll be
I
beautiful.
want the mugginess. It's so cold in Melbourne.
Yeah, when it gets really cold in Melbourne, or Melbourne's always cold. When it gets really cold down south, I should say, it gets really dry here. So that's the best time to come to Darwin. There's not a drop of rain. Humidity is low, and we have 25 degrees Celsius and day temperatures, and up to 17 or 18 degrees at night. So,
That's
and we
awesome.
don't need air conditioning. Yeah.
Yeah. So you're doing lots of concerts now,
I'm
around in
doing
Darwin,
three.
or yep.
Yes, that would be around Darwin. So I think there are three concerts in two in June and one in August. So we're doing the Darwin Festival as well, which is we have musicians and artists from all over Australia, sometimes from UK as well, and we've been lucky enough to find a spot this year at Darwin Festival. So you can watch us or find me if any of our
On
viewers come to Darwin.
your
Yeah.
yes, and your band, are they all local musicians?
They're all local musicians. They're mostly Sri Lankans. We've got three Sri Lankans, actually four Sri Lankans. To me, I'm Indian, and the keyboard player is also Indian. So
Oh, awesome.
my
So
music,
totally.
however, a lot of music. My music has been recorded in Darwin, but has been produced in Lahore, Pakistan. My first song with Rahat Fateh Ali Khan was produced in Lahore, and I think I've got close to 20, 25 songs that have been produced in Lahore. So I um, I know a few musicians who actually are involved with Coke Studio, and they do absolutely.
Whoa, yes.
Yeah, they're just a pleasure to work with. It's very professional, and obviously they know live music better than anyone else. So I've always worked with them.
So musicians at the Coke Studios. Are you going to go to Coke Studio soon?
I hope one day they invite me, but I've
Inshallah.
just worked.
Yep.
Thank you. Well, I'm hoping one day. Let's see.
That'll be so awesome because I love
Thank
Coke Studio. The singers that you never hear of, suddenly they're
you.
all there.
That's
So
right. In fact, I'm recording a song just like Coke Studio. It's not Coke Studio, it's my own studio, but we'll be recording the same style. That's on the 28th of May, but it doesn't come on my YouTube channel until I think maybe a month. So it's
in
Nusrat
June.
Saab Wali's. It's six of them, and we've done a medley. So we've combined his
Wow.
yeah. So
So
that
if you
should
share it with me, I'll put it on my Facebook and share it
I
along.
will
Oh, that will
remember
be
to do that.
so
Thank
awesome. So
you.
you talked about going to Rajasthan. And then you said you found out in Pakistan, in Lahore, that
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
So a couple of 2 weeks ago, I was in Jaipur. One of our family, actually relatives, they had their 50th wedding anniversary. So it was a big occasion. Everyone came from everywhere. So I was in Jaipur, and at the hotel that we stayed, they had this amazing musician. The moment we entered the hotel the first day, and there he was singing on his mandolin, and he had the most wonderful voice. And people go to Rajasthan for palaces and forts, which is
yeah,
amazing, and
and
the
food,
whole
yeah,
world knows about it. But for me, it was the folk music. It was the singers that can sing without a microphone, and such bold and loud voices. And I tried singing with them, but there was no way I could keep up with their the intensity, and the vocals were out of this world. And I think and I got inspired, and I called up my producer in Ayaz Sonu in Lahore. I said, well, I want this song, Padharo Mare Desh Mein. And
yeah.
then he says, yes, we can do something like that. And then we've been working on it. Hopefully in a couple of months we'll release that. And I was quite uh, unknown to me, they have the same folk songs. And I knew Punjabi folk songs are similar across the borders. I did not know that Rajasthani folk songs were similar across the border as well. So we're very
That's news,
similar. We're
yes.
exactly the same people with same DNA, and
Same
we have the
language,
same
same food.
everything same.
Everything is same until you mix politics into it, and then everything goes crazy.
Yeah, I
Yes.
don't listen to politicians.
Yeah, neither do I. Oh, this is awesome. I've got to share this, the fact that you went to Rajasthan and then you found similar dialect in Lahore. I mean,
Mm.
that is something I never knew.
Obviously,
So,
Lahore is all Punjabi, but the musicians that they have there, they had Rajasthani musicians as well. They don't call it Rajasthani. They don't have Rajasthan, but it's the same dialect. So
yeah, yeah.
they said, well, this concept can sing your Rajasthani dialect, and then him and I have been working on some tunes.
Wow. So, where did you start your musical journey, in a garage, or did you?
So I've been singing apparently since I was three. And my cousin, who has witnessed me singing, he always says, "The day you become popular, I'll tell I was the one who first discovered that you had talent." So I was three and a bit, and I've been singing ever since. Mom and dad have recordings of old cassette players from the early 80s and all that. Um, I recorded my first video in Darwin in my backyard in a shed. And it was released, and I think forgotten the name of the music channel, but it was the song was Tak Diyan Akhan, my eyes are
Which I've
watching.
heard. Yes, I've
Have you?
I've been listening to your songs on YouTube. Yes.
Right. So that was the first venture. All the members of the band are there, and then that was a good effort, and we thought, uh, it'll do really well, and I did. It did. So, and then we built from there, and we started involving lyricists and producers from overseas, from Pakistan, from India, and then Rahat Fateh Ali Khan Saab happened, um and then we are here, where I have my own channel.
And you have
I'm
your own
building it up
studio?
slowly.
Do you have your own
No,
studio? Or
I still hire a hire studio, the recording studio. We do have a band has a small place where we get together. We call it studio, but it's not a proper
that's a
studio. But
studio?
we hire it. Yeah, there's a few studios around the region. We go around and book it and then record.
Oh, this must be so exciting. Just listening to you, I'm getting excited.
Thank you.
So, I don't know if I asked you, how did T Series discover you? Or you?
So it was I sent emails to all the big labels, and I never thought that T Series would get back to me. They were the first one to get back to me. So I think due to a bit of tensions between India and Pakistan back in 2017, Rahat Saab had already left
Yep.
India, and there was this hunger to listen to his voice. And T Series got back to me literally 20 minutes after I'd sent the email. I had a phone call from Mumbai, and they said, "We want this song. You're not giving it to anyone. That's ours. What do you want?" And I said, "Well, I just want to be released on the main platform, your main T series channel, not Apna Punjab, but main. So that's how it started. And they said we want this song, and then they were amazing, and uh, and I told them we already have a video, and they were even more excited. And I think a month later we had it released on T series. So that was one of my life's happiest moments. Um, you know, no matter what you have, what happens, I think if you write a book or you create music, especially with wonderful artists like Rahat Fateh Ali Khan, that's going to stay forever. We as humans come and go, but what we leave behind is if you've created something, a work of art or music or a book, that stays long after you're gone. So yeah, that's something no one can ever take it away from you.
Yeah, absolutely. Music is for eternity. That's why when I
Yes.
read your story on ABC, I'm like, that's it. I need to talk to you.
Thank you for
So, uh, a doctor by day, a musician by in the evening. Does your world collide?
Um, it does because, funnily, patients obviously look you up because someone says, "Oh, my knee got better because I saw this doctor who took blood from my arm and put back in my knee, and I'm good now." Here they were saying that I need a new knee replaced, and this guy from, he's an Indian guy. They don't know my name. They just describe he's got no hair and wears glasses. So people look me up. Sometimes they misspell, and Google corrects the spellings, and then the first thing they read about me is a singer and a musician, and then they say, "Oh, everything is is as I was looking for, but this guy is not a doctor." And page two will tell that yes, I'm a doctor as well. So most people who now come and see me, who have not known me for the last many years, think that I'm a musician. So they, funnily they'll say, "By the way, I've seen all your videos and I've done this and that." So that's how we end up talking about music end of my towards the end of my consults sometimes, for a long time. So that's how it's colliding lately. And even though I used to feel embarrassed because you don't want them to know that the artist side of you, because you as a performer, you're catering to a different audience. Here you're trying to fix medical problems, but I've learned to mix the two these days, and we with a pinch of salt, and we have fun sometimes, and we talk about music. And people don't understand what I'm singing, and I wish.
But I'm
Uh,
sure you have Indian patients who do.
yes, yes, Indian patients, yes, they do.
Yeah. Well, anything else you want to share with us? Your music is releasing on the 11th. Um,
Yes, so please watch Sanso Ki Mala. It's a song that has been done in the past, but it's not a cover song. It's the lyrics are completely original. Yes, the the chorus bit has been done a lot of times, but it's an original song. I'll share it with Saleha, and
yes, yes, please.
thank you for helping me spread the word,
Not at
spread the
all.
music.
Not at all. I'll
Uh,
put it on my
it's
YouTube channel too. How
thank
awesome it is. I mean, this is
thank
awesome.
And I don't, how everyone asks, what's your genre? I don't say I'm a Sufi singer. I don't say I'm a hip hop. I've done both. I try to sing whatever feels good. And classical, I love listening to classical, but you will find some classical music uh, in all my songs. Even if I'm doing hip hop, there'll be some classical in it. But I love classical. And thank you for having me. It's been a
Not at
pleasure.
all. Pleasure. Pleasure is mine. How cool is it? A GP who also does hip hop. Wow. That's what. Thank you, Sadbir, for joining me.